Twin Cities Adventures here with our coin and currency playlist, and in today's video I'm going to show you, in my opinion, which is the best coin or currency book to buy for your collection. Okay, I just put some books out here on display and I'll walk you through them just so you can see the differences in books. And there's two different things that I can think of that come to my mind when collecting coins and currency that are very important to most collectors. And number one is history, and number two is art, in no particular order, of course. So after all, we are collecting history, and it is beautiful art as well. So those are two very important things. I'll walk you through these books and show you the differences, and hopefully you'll make a decision on which book is the best for you. Let's start with the World's Authority on Paper Money. This is the 10th edition, and we'll just do a quick flip through, and a quick flip through can tell you a lot. And this book, right off the back, my first impressions is it is a lot of black and white, and the artwork is very small, and the grading starts very high. So this seems to be a book put together for someone who is not really into much art and who is collecting at the higher level. And I am not super impressed with this book. And as far as history goes, there is some details on currency in the first half of the book, like there is in most books. So you get your glimpse of history in there, and the artwork is very small. Now let's go to the official Redbook. This is a guide book of United States paper money. It is a complete source for history, grading, and values. This is the 3rd edition, and you can see by the wear and tear that I've probably read this a lot. So right off the bat, I took some notes here in my book, just the letter system for the different states here for the bills. It's kind of a little quick guide I referenced earlier in the years. Now this book has, let's see, it's got a long history section of paper currency in the beginning of the book, as most of them do. It's very interesting. And now let's look through the artwork. Let's do a quick flip and get a sneak preview. Now right off the bat, you can see that the paper, the artwork is larger. So that's more appealing to me. And it's realistic looking, like it's clear shots of it, so it has better imagery. And now the grading system starts for this a little bit lower. And like you can see, it starts at very good 8, fine 12, very fine. So it starts a little bit lower. So that's good for like the normal collector. But once again, the artwork is a lot larger, and it has a lot of storyline for each type of paper currency. So that's like a good reference. So I prefer this over the previous book. Now let's set that aside and let's check another one out. This is the standard catalog of United States paper money. It's the 32nd edition. Let's do a quick flip through. Okay, this is a nice thick book. You can see the artwork is a little bit smaller, and still the grading system starts at very good, so it starts a little bit lower than the first book we saw. But the artwork on here looks like it's cheaper printing, like it's almost like Monopoly money, and I don't really appreciate that. And the artwork gets pretty small again, so I think that they probably spent less money on printing these books for probably a greater profit because the images are smaller and like they're less clear. I don't want to look at a book that looks like fake money. Even the color is off on a lot of these, and that is not good if you're collecting money, because you really want to see the differences between the different bills. And there's the history, a little history of paper currency like they all have. And now we have a collector's guide to postage and fractional currency. Now, I've looked at this book a lot, and this is the 2nd edition. Let's do a quick flip through. Okay. Now, this looks like the grading starts out down here at very good. So that's still a pretty good measurement of money. When you get into very good, it gives the beginner an idea of what things are looking like. They should start them out even lower. So like the beginner, like small kids are, you know, I was 12 years old when I started collecting paper currency, and I could probably afford things that were back on the scale. They should give a guide of that. Now, the artwork is kind of small, and it's pretty good. So it's not the best I've seen, but it does give a pretty accurate description and what to look for underneath it. But I'm not like 100% impressed with this book. Let's go back to the back of the book. And there's a lot of historical facts in the back also, differences. Okay, we'll put that aside. And then here is a book on Confederate States paper money, if you want to get into that. And we'll flip through that real quick here. First glance. And the artwork is pretty good. If you collect Confederate money, the artwork it's not the best I've seen, but it's pretty good. At least they have it larger so you can actually see what you're looking at. Some of these photos are black and white. Never put black and white photos in an art book. That is the worst. It's like reading the newspaper in black and white, and they put food from the grocery store in black and white. Nobody wants to buy food that's black and white. And then we get back to color, and then black and white again. So this is a pretty good book if you're collecting Confederate money. This is the 12th edition. And it gives a nice description of everything in each section also. Let's set that aside for now. And now we have the Southern States currency. This is the official Redbook, which I'm a big fan of the Redbook. This is the Whitman. So let's take a look here. Let's do a quick spin through this real quick. And the artwork is larger. Take note of that. Larger artwork is good because people that collect, they want to see the artwork. That's the draw to the hobby. So this does give a good description, and it has a pretty good, it says the range here, $40 to $125, $50 to $300. So it sort of gives you like a description, a vague estimate, and that's fine. Artwork is pretty good. This is a better book. I'm more pleased with this book here for this type of currency. So I definitely go with the Redbook if you're into Southern currency. I'll put that aside again. My coin books, and I'm gonna show you the official Redbook, a guide of United States coin, and this is the 2013 edition. I just ordered a 2021 edition. I do use this book a lot. Let's flip through this. We'll do a quick run through. There's the history of coins in the beginning of the book. Very typical. I like that. Now this starts with colonial money. Okay, that is a good spectrum to start with. And we go from colonial money to post-colonial issue. And I like the timeline of money, so you can start, and then there's the middle, and then there's the end. That's kind of how I have my collection set up in my collection books, and I'll show you that in a little while. And then we start with half cents, and they're color-coded at the top. So, and then we go to large cent, from the oldest ones to newer ones. And then we go to small cent with the flying eagle. I'll show you those when we go through my coin collection later on. The Indian head pennies, Lincoln wheat pennies. And I like that there's a lot of detail here. And then the artwork is realistic size, and then the values. And it starts with good for. So it tells you the mintage, and there's the different types, and it goes all the way up to the highest rating here. And let's see, it goes to the dimes. This pretty much is an awesome book. This is my favorite coin book. So We go to commemorative coins, and then what's in the back here? Gold bullion, which I do not collect gold bullion, but if you're into that, and then platinum bullion, if you're into that. And then we get into other rarities. So, oh, and then there's a section here for misstrikes and error coins. I do like that because I do have a collection of misstrikes and error coins that we'll go through when we show you our collection. So I really like this book. This is my favorite for coins. And now here's another really interesting book. This is Grading Coins by Photographs. This is the second edition. And I really like this book, and I use this here and there because I want to see exactly how coins are graded. So if you are collecting coins for, you know, their grade, this shows you a very descriptive count of the different gradings, and it tells you all about it in a picture, a realistic picture of the coin as you go down, and you can see the wear. And I'll just walk you through this specific coin. This is a large cent, and then the different grades. So let's take you through a more common one that people collect. Let's just flip through here. There's the Buffalo nickel. And let's see here. What is a let's go to the Morgan dollar, and we'll walk through all the different quarters. See, this is great because it shows you, and I'll zoom in when we get to the Morgan dollars, because Morgan dollars are very popular to collect. Okay, I'll zoom in now that we're on the Morgan dollar section here. Now you can see that it gives a very detailed history of the Morgans here. And then we'll flip over here and we will look at the highest quality here. And then we go to About Uncirculated. You can see how clear the details are there. And now we'll go to Extremely Fine. I mean, you cannot get better than this. This is the best book on grading coins. Very fine. Now here is Fine. If you ever wonder what these ratings are, this book gives a really good description of everything. And now we'll go to Very Good. It talks about the details that you'll see. So you can literally take your coin and put it next to these coins, and you can see exactly where your coin sits. Good. Look at the wear mark. Proof Morgans. Okay, so that is a really good peek at the quality of this book. Susan B. Anthony's. And then we get all the way up to gold. And now, just for the fun of it, let's do a comparison. I have a Mercury dime here, and that's from 1943. Let's do a comparison to see where we think this fits in the grading book. Right off the bat, you can tell that this Mercury dime that I have is way better clarity than this one that is rated About Good. So let's just move that up to scale. It's still better than that one. This one is rated at Good. And then we'll move it right up here to Very Good. And you can see that now we're getting closer, but you can see where the feathers are wore off here. Mine are better, and so it's a little bit more clear. Mine's dirty. I have not cleaned it. I really don't clean coins. So let's flip to the next page. Now we're looking at fine. And so this is very interesting. Fine still has the feathers wore off and the face is not a lot of detail, but we're getting very close. But mine is still better because you can see all of the detail here in the wings and in all of the headdress piece. Let's go to very fine and start looking at the comparison. That looks like it is very, very close. So this is very fine. Let's bump it up to extremely fine once and see what we think here. Now, you know what? I feel like that is really super close. Let's flip it here and see what the back side looks like. Now the back side of mine has more wear and tear, but the front side is very close. Now because the back side is a little bit more clear, I'm gonna bump it back down to very fine. And that is a very close comparison. Now let's look at the back side. So the back side, super close. There's a little bit more wear and tear on the back. It's a little bit more rub marks here. Now if I bump that back down to fine, that looks like a very good match. So it's a fine on the back side, but the front side is a cross between fine and very fine. I'll zoom out a little bit. So now if this was professionally graded, it would be probably rated fine to very fine. And that is how good this book is. You can compare all of your coins side by side, and that's why this is one of the best books that you should buy. And now the big differences here. Now this is the standard catalog of paper money. Now this one is general issue 1368 to 1960. It's the 14th edition. And this is 1961 to present, 19th edition. Now this is the world's authority on paper money. So now these books are great because if you collect world paper currency, which I do, and we'll go over my collection later, let's do a quick flip. Now, there is a number of black and white photos in here. So that is, in my opinion, the worst. So let's do a quick run through. This is just a sneak peek when I flip through it like this. So that, I do not like that, but if you printed a book this size in full color, it would probably cost hundreds of dollars. And this book cost me $70. 70 US dollars. So that's a little bit of investment, but if you're into the hobby, you have to buy this book. So it would probably cost more like $300 if it was in full color. But the thing about this is that it talks about it. Purple on multicolored underprint, sailboat at left. Okay, back workers in field watermark. Okay, so it gives a very detailed description of everything. Here's Bank of Jamaica. I have these in my collection. This year, 1973. So for example, this is a 1973 Jamaica. It says dark green and red brown on multicolored underprint. So you can decipher which version and which year you have by reading the details in it. Now this is a great book. It goes over every country in the world. So this is super helpful. And I always take a highlighter pen and I highlight when I have something in my collection. That way it's a kind of a quick go-to. I've already graded my piece. And then it starts with different values here. So that kind of gives you an idea of what things are worth. Very fine and uncirculated. It starts kind of high, but most paper money is either crisp or wrinkled or washcloth consistency. I mean, you can figure out what things are worth. If something's worth $1 and it's trashed, it's probably worth still $1 unless you really want it, unless it's rare, and then it'll say what it's worth. Now I'll go back in time and we'll go to the 1368 to 1960 version. This book, I'll do a quick flip through real quick. Same book, but older money, and it's exactly the same as before. Now, if you're getting into really old world currency, this is also a must-have because you really want to know what you're looking at. And when you go back in time this far, you really don't need to buy an updated book very often. So this book could last you probably 20 years. I mean, the values don't change that much in world paper currency, but it tells you the same. See black on multicolored, and it tells you the year. And obviously when you go into old money like this, the values are greater because they're older. And that is a great book. But we'll get into that more later when we get into our world paper currency collection. So without further ado, the winners is the Whitman Official Red Book, a guide of United States paper money. And like I said, this is the 3rd edition. This is the newest one that they've come out with. This one has the absolute best artwork. It's larger in size, which is like huge. And then it gives the best description. So if you were to buy one book on paper currency, not only does this go through the history of paper currency, starting with, let's see, where does this begin? Starting with the 1862 dollar bill, which that's the first one of the first ones in my collection, all the way through the different versions. Huge artwork, very realistic. And this goes all the way up through money that nobody can afford unless you are a billionaire. Let's flip through this real quick. The hundreds, the 500s. $500 bills are beautiful. I see a lot of these at coin and currency shows. $1,000 bills. I see a lot of these at coin and currency shows. $5,000 bills. And then we get up to $10,000 bills. I've seen these at coin and currency shows. I will add a link to a coin and currency show where we do take pictures of these bills that we've seen. They're probably worth like $120,000 each. I think that's what they were rated at. And then this is why I love this book so much, because then it gives you all of the fractional currency, and I collect that also. I'll show you that in a later video. And it has a really good grading system from very good all the way up to uncirculated. So I love that it gives you a very good look at fractional currency, because paper currency collectors love fractional currency. And it gives you like a nice history of things. And we'll go over that when we look at my collection more closely in the future. I have all of these in my collection. And then we go to notes from 1812. And then we go to postage stamp currency. These are the coins. I love that they put these in there. These are very rare. I do see these pop up for sale on eBay every once in a while. I'm very tempted to purchase one, but where do you start and stop? Collecting error notes. I like that it touches base on that. I do have an error note collection. So that gives you kind of an example of what different kind of error notes look like. And then sheets of money. So that's that takes up a lot of space. I do not collect sheets of money. But this is the #1 pick for United States paper money, the Red Book. You have to buy this. A second book that you have to buy this is, in my opinion, the best book for U.S. coins, is the Whitman Official Red Book. And like I said, I do have a 2021 version coming in the mail right now, but this book is by far the best book on U.S. coins that is made. So I'm a huge fan of Whitman Red Books. They have the best artwork. They have the best books on the planet. And if you were going to buy a third book, this would be really fun. It's grading coins by photographs. This is the 2nd edition. You can take a close look at this book here. I'll give you the flip side of it. Now this is also Whitman Publishing. So they do put out the best books. 1995 when I purchased that. They put out the best books, and I'm a huge fan of that. So these are my top 3 winners in order. First, second, third, in order of what to buy. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. Now, this is for coin and currency enthusiasts. If you're really into coins and currency, and if you want to start purchasing books so you can learn more about your collection, and you can learn how to grade things, and you can sort of see how to collect money and look at the format, then this is a great video for you. As a collector, I've been collecting coins and currency since I was 8 years old, and now in this video, I'm 47 years old, and I never quit collecting. I started with coins when I was 8 years old, and then I started with world paper when I was 12, and then I started collecting US paper currency a few years later. So when I organize my collection, I actually use this book right here as an outline of how I organize my collection. And I'll show you that in another video. Just check out our coins and currency playlist. Well, thanks for watching. Twin Cities Adventures out.